snap, it's just like uncooked spaghetti, it just shatters apart and so forth. You do get flexibility, but you never get a lot of strength. A little kink or a tug and it breaks. The bright lights are nice, but they make the ivory look bigger than what they really are. That's ivory at 7 thousandths under bright light, and then taking it out of the bright light here in a second, you'll see that it's very, very tiny.
How long,
Wow.
what's the time frame from stick
From-
to that piece? right
From here to here, now this one's a little shorter, but if I turn that into a piece of ivory string that full length, you'd be looking a little over an hour. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah. And the strings are
Now, does
the
that
only
flex
thing-
at all on that light there? This flex?
I mean, that's,
Both, yeah.
it'll bend a little bit like that.
The other one's really flexing.
Yeah, the other one will really bend around.
Amazing. Do they use that for any other purpose?
No,
Medical or
not that I
anything?
know of. I've always been waiting for somebody to come up with a medical application. Then I finally get some money out of this project. Which are ivory. But compared to the oil, it wasn't of any value. So they didn't take the whale's teeth home and sell them. But these guys, for fun, would take a whale's tooth and they'd polish it up. And they learned to take sharp needles and pen knives and scratch pictures in their whale's teeth. And then they would take lamp black or tobacco juice and get some kind of a pigment into that white tooth and end up with a line drawing, a dark and light line drawing. This became known as scrimshaw, and we don't even know where the word originated from. But to scrimshaw, what I do is I polish up the ivory to be real shiny like you see here. Once I get the high polish, I take a sharp needle and I literally score these lines in the ivory with that sharp needle. And after I score a line in the ivory, then I take a Q-tip and I dip it into Black India ink. And real messy like, as if I'm a kid, I just smear ink everywhere and I let it dry. And after it dries, I take a damp rag and I wipe off all the excess ink. The ink will go to the score line and get into those microscopic pores. It'll be a permanent picture, but it will not even begin to stain the polished ivory. So everything goes back to being white except for these line drawings. Also, I take a sharp needle then, the same needle, and I poke tiny dots and I fill the dots with ink to get the gray and the different dark shaded patterns. And there are always tricks. A lot of people are sitting there thinking, how does he get a line to be so straight? Well, the trick is I make rulers out of plastic. And I hold these rulers down to the side of the ship or to the deck, and then my needle rides the edge of that ruler to give me a real nice straight line. And the curve templates hug the ships, and my needle can ride around these curve templates to get these curved lines. So these are some of the little tricks. Another trick is holding on to this thing. The ships and the decks are slippery. I take these things and I stick them into a great big blob of Play-Doh, and they get stuck in the Play-Doh. And when they're stuck in the Play-Doh, one hand is free to work the plastic, the other hand's free to work the needle point. And I start engraving across the side of a deck or the side of a ship or whatever. Yeah. The tool is homemade. Any other questions? You guys are good fun? Become quiet. This is my shop. The ship I'm working on is on the table over here. This is a ship that owns the Motaro ship. This is a Spanish ship in the mid-1400s. And it's a very important ship and called the ship to go. It was the ship that basically gave rise to the Santa Maria and the other ships we made in restoration. So this was a big step in that new style of ship that could go international with other things. The drill press over here has a buffing wheel in it. That's very normal. These wheels are made out of felt, and as those wheels spin around, I move the little parts around the wheels and they take on that high polish. The other drill press over here has a drill bit in it, and as drill bits go, for me, that's a giant one. There's a factory here in Ohio that makes drill bits down to the diameter of a human hair. And I buy those drill bits and I put those in the drill press in a special chuck that goes in the drill press to drill the little holes on the ships. 2,000 years old. I jump around, but I have important ships that I want to carve. I just don't carve them in any particular order. So at any given point in this exhibit, you could walk up to a ship, and we don't explain what I made it, but let's say we walk up to this ship. I might have made this ship 25, this ship in fact was made about 30 years ago. Okay, well, it was one of my working.
Dave, we have you here as the original guide. I mean, you're the man who made this here today, right?
Right.
You carved these. Was this your idea the whole time to have a museum, or
Yeah.
did you have any other job before that?
Well,
or-
I've always made a living separate from this work. So I've always made a regular living. I do that at home in the evenings. I make musical instrument parts.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I make a living. And then this has always been my most important work. That's just to make a living so I can do this. Then this work has always been foremost ever since I was a teenager. My idea was to have carvings to show the complete story of the ship. And so it's been a big project. It's not haphazardly ideated, it's just haphazardly executed.
So originally, your grandfather did the trains, and how'd you get nautical or boatish
I
like
made a
this?
ship when I was a little ship when I was 6 years old, and I just fell in love with it.
Fascinated?
And I was fascinated by it, ships and the whole idea, and I just kept making ships. And I don't boat or sail. I get seasick looking at a ship.
Is that right?
I have no interest in boating or sailing. Yeah, all I do is I work on these ships, and it's important to me, but I don't even want to get on a boat. Ever since I got married, my wife wanted to go on a cruise.
Really?
And I said no. I'm not gonna go on a cruise. And finally, I got her to quit talking about a cruise.